Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to New England Christian Television Network with CB on CB's Corner with a couple members of the Casa Bruce um, Reunion Committee. We have Antony Drago and Iola with us. I think we are expecting a couple more people, maybe one more, Dr. John Finn. And we are here to talk about um, this great event that has been planning for over a year, and that is the Casa Bruce Family and Friends Reunion. And this is an event that takes place, I believe, every 7 years. And what a tremendous occasion it is, and it's going to be. And so, those of you that have joined us already, welcome to CB's Corner. And we will talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about as it pertains to the reunion that's coming up on the 10th to the 17th of August. So, those are important dates. Remember that. It's August the 10th to the 17th. And we are hoping to have a wonderful time. But before we proceed, let me ask our guests to introduce themselves, and then we will go right into it. And by the way, these are my family members. This is my uncle. People want to know why this guy who is younger than me is my uncle, but I it speaks of the ability, I suppose, for lack of a better word, of my grandfather. He was he was prolific into his old age. So, Anthony, can you just tell the people who you are and what is your role in the activities for the upcoming event?
Yeah, good morning, nephew. Good morning, nephew. Good morning to the other family members, Ayo, and of course the audience. Good morning to you also. It's a wonderful Tuesday morning, and we give gratitude and pass along blessings as well to be able to enjoy such a wonderful day. I am currently speaking to you from New York, Brooklyn, New York, and we give thanks for the technology that allows me to be able to do that. And the reason why I start this way is because this is what the reunion, one of the major objectives of the reunion is to maintain the ties and to strengthen and rekindle the connections that we have when we leave our home for whatever reason and reside elsewhere. Uh, there is I don't recall the name of the poet right now, but he says, nobody leaves your home voluntarily. You don't leave your home unless there is a hot breath in your ear asking you or forcing you or telling you that you have to leave. And so we never lose that connection back to from whence we came. And so the reunion gives us the opportunity to deal with that emotion, but also to take us back to our formative years and to see opportunities to connect with other folks who are there, both older and younger, and to see how um, we can forge those ties. The greatest resource of any community is its people. And those of us who have had the opportunity to live, most of us have develop skills, and just by virtue of having to adjust to a different life, we carry with us a lot of experiences that a reunion gives us the opportunity to come back home to see for ourselves how we can contribute, because we all want to contribute. And so those are some of the objectives of the reunion. And so my name, as my nephew said, is Anthony Drago, and I am extremely excited about the reunion that's coming up for August 10th to the 17th, and I am super excited to be on the program tonight to answer your questions this morning. I mean, to answer your questions and to give out whatever information that we have that will entice you and encourage you to plan to come as well.
Well, yeah, he's so excited he doesn't know whether it's night or day. Um, he's in New York, I'm in Boston, but in my background, you can see I desire to be home as well. I am simulating what looks like the village of Castle Bruce. You can see the ocean in the background and the coconut tree. That's my idea of Castle Bruce, and I think it's a close depiction. Ayo, can you tell the people who you are and what's your role in the whole organization scheme?
Sure. Well, I am here in Dominica. Can't wait to see you guys next month. I am the PRO in terms of in the organizing committee. And my role is basically to get information out. We do have a Facebook page. We also have a WhatsApp group. So anybody who's interested can send us their contacts, I guess, through your channel, and we can add them to the group. But I am from Castlebrooks. I was born there in my grandmother's house. But I've spent many years out of the village, and I think what is fitting for the reunion is our theme. Our theme is Se Place. No, it's our place, and I think that persons who have been out of Castlebrooks but who are maybe a little unsure as to should I come? Am I welcome? You definitely can come because once you are from Castlebrooks or have roots in Castlebrooks, it's your place because there are people who, yes, they live and work in the village, but a lot of people commute to Roseau every day and go to work. So half of their day is not even in the village, they're in the city. I'm one of those. There are people who maybe left as children, or there are also persons who were born abroad, but their parents are from Castlebrooks. It's your place. So that's what I want people to really get from the reunion is that Castlebrooks is yours. You belong here, and we're looking forward to welcoming you back.
Say plus new. And I have a guest on who from his take time from his busy schedule to be with us, and he's not from Castlebrooks, but we can make him an honorary Castlebrooksian, and that is Attorney Peter Low Black.
I
Peter
thought
Low
I recognized that face.
Peter Low Black happens to be, we are both graduates of the St. Mary's Academy, and we actually went to the University of the Virgin Islands together. I was following him, and he's a big-time attorney in Florida. He specializes in immigration business, and we felt it would do us well with the climate that we are in terms of travel and whatnot. We thought let's get somebody who has expertise in that area, and he could guide us along the way. So for those of you who are traveling from the United States to the event and you have questions about immigration, feel free to call in. I'm in studio and I can take your call. The number to call is 617-416-0048, 617-416-0048, and I'll be able to pass on the information to our good attorney, Peter Low Black. Mr. Low Black, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And just by way of introduction, just tell the people you are. And of course, we big you up because you're Dominican, not because you were not born in Castlebrooks. We still, like I said, we embrace you, and you have your Castlebrooks pass as well.
Who say I was born in Castlebrooks, man? Oh, obviously I was born in Roseau, really. Yeah, Pottersville, but I utilized that beach in Castlebrooks a couple times,
You owe us then.
But I practice law, nationally out here. But based in Florida, I travel all over the U.S. I've been doing this for too long. I don't want to age myself to say how. Well, for several decades, practicing immigration law. I've resided throughout the U.S. in a number of states anyway. But, as it relates to address the point that you made, as it relates to immigration, for people, I guess you have listeners, right? So,
yes.
The advice on traveling, if you're a citizen, if you're a green card holder, but like always, everything is going to depend on your personal situation. So you're going to know your personal situation. For example, let's say you're a citizen, you become naturalized, you have the citizenship, you have your passport for ages. And but there were issues in, when you get the pass, when you get your green card and then you become a citizen, maybe there was certain situation in your background that was not disclosed. So, I mean, although you're a citizen, but US laws say people who have a green card or obtain naturalization along the process who were not eligible at the time that they applied, even though it was granted to you and you have the passport, they do not view you as a citizen because you obtained the status by fraud or willful misrepresentation. You maybe didn't disclose, so, maybe an arrest, maybe you had abandoned your reside outside the country for more than a year, before you came back and then you apply for naturalization, you stayed. So all of these are factors. So people need to just understand their own situation, because they stop, they will check and they review all records and they may send you for secondary inspection. I mean, sometimes, a lot of times there's no issue. You'll still be allowed in generally, but if, you could be placed in removal proceedings, but you'll still be allowed to return back. If you have a green card, even though they're going to place you in removal proceedings, you'll still, because you're still a green card holder until an immigration judge order you deported. So it's just understand your situation. I know a lot of times things happened years ago and it was not disclosed. But that's the only issue as it relates to traveling, that you could be sent to secondary inspection, and even though you're a citizen, secondary inspection will have the record and have the time to look at any issue. And you may be there a couple hours, you will be released. More, you'll be let out, but then you could be placed in removal proceeding. That means you'll be given a document called a notice to appear, and you'll have to deal with that with the immigration judge. A lot of times those issues could be waived. So their relief to removal, not because you're placed in removal proceedings, it's going to mean that you're going to be deported. A lot of people are able to get out of that. And they continue to, their status would then be legitimized. But that's the only issue, is just understanding your situation if you're going to travel. There's no issue about departing the US. Anyone who want to leave good is coming back. That's the issue. There's some airports that are more notorious than others. Puerto Rico is the place if you're going to come back, generally I'll tell people, most people don't try to go through Puerto Rico, don't go through your inspection for Puerto Rico. Try to do it on the mainland. That's tend to be an easier situation. Because if they're going to detain you, they're going to keep you in Puerto Rico. That's the bad thing. And they're more flexible if it's the mainland than a place like Puerto Rico.
Well, that's good information to know. Thank you so much. I mean, in terms of travel, I mean, personally, I just came from Sweden. I had no issues. And so, I mean, like you said, it has to be based on your own personal situation. And if you have an issue, then you should be cautious about that. But I appreciate the information. And if anybody is listening and you have any specific concerns, feel free to call the number that I gave, which is 617-416-0048. But that's good information to know, my brother. Thank you so much.
Anytime. When is that? Is that August coming up?
Yes. So the reunion is August 10th through the 17th, and we do have a flyer that we sent out, and folks can see there's events planned, and we'll talk about that as we go through the process. But correct me if I'm wrong, Ayo, but I believe we initiated the reunion process way back when, 30 years ago. So this is our third reunion. So we started that, and I think the other villages, everybody is trying to make it better, which is good, and it just allows for the competition. I think it's an awesome. It brings some much needed economic monies into the economy, but it brings a lot of other things as well. I remember the first time we did it. We have people from Castles that were living in Africa, man.
Oh,
So it's just amazing. People that I didn't even know were my relatives. I found out, and so this is always an awesome thing. And the committee members are working behind the scenes to make sure that we have an awesome time. And so thank you again for joining us. And you stay by. Don't leave us yet. We may have a couple questions for you.
right.
Tony,
You could do, yeah, if any. You could,
by the way, I don't know if I told you this guy's my uncle. He's
oh,
younger than
really?
he's
Mr.
my
Grigo?
uncle. Yes. So, Uncle Tony, you are muted. So, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about what we have done so far and what we expect going forward.
All right, thank you, and special thank you to Attorney Peter Loblack. Thanks for coming on and for giving people information, because there's so much different information from different sources. Sometimes it can cause a little bit of a head spin. And so hearing it from someone who is actually in the field working every day provides some accurate information that folks can actively use to make their decisions. But we started this journey of planning the reunion 2025. It's actually a Castle Bruce family and friends reunion. We started that over a year ago, planning for this one. And the significance of the date is that the Casabras Village Feast is Chenzawu, the 15th of August. And so that's why that week was chosen to start on the 10th, and on the 17th. So it encompasses that 15th of August. Those of our folks who are more French than us, they might say Kenzawu, but growing up, we always call it Chenzawu, 15th of August. Some of and there were a few thoughts that went into the planning very early. Of course, Castle Bruce, we know, is one of the most warm and hospitable communities in Castle Bruce. I remember growing up,
in Dominica.
In Dominica. I remember growing up, there were some people who came for the village feast and never went back. Some people would come for summer vacation and just stay in Castle Bruce.
They taste the water and they couldn't leave.
Just the water. And some of the older folks used to call Castle Bruce L'Hopital. Like,
Why?
that because it's like people come to Castle Bruce and they just stay. And they stay, and within a few months you could see the improvement in the department and the appearance. It's called Castle Bruce L'Hopital. So that idea of welcome and embrace and hospitality is traditionally Castle Bruce. And so I'm saying that because very early we said we were organizing a Castle Bruce reunion, but we want to make sure that anybody from anywhere in Dominica, from anywhere in the Caribbean, from anywhere in the world who heard of the reunion and wants to come can be assured that they will be received with welcome and warm, open arms. And so that's important, and that's what the significance is there when it says family and friends reunion and friends. That I remember when we were discussing in the very early meetings, it was so strongly driven in that we have to make sure that we put the friends in there. So folks, everybody knows that everyone is welcome. The other aspect of the reunion that we discuss, of course, is to have a good time. And so there is a lot of entertainment and leisure that is planned into the program. And thirdly, we want to be sure that when we come, it's not just a fete and a good time and then we leave, but that the reunion will have an impact, a significant positive impact on the lives, on the community and the people who currently live there, and even beyond the reunion. So, for example, we immediately started looking at community projects that we could do that would impact. So we look at where's the marketplace? Is there anything that we can do? Are there public conveniences? Do they need enhancement and upgrading? What's the sporting facilities like? How can we contribute to the sporting facilities? Who are the business people and the entrepreneurs? Or how can we make sure that we have some economic activity that they can benefit from? The health impact. what can we do to make sure that we bring resources that can at least provide some education and more in that regard. And so those were the foundations that were laid as we planned the the reunion, and I am proud to say that we've maintained um, practically all of those objectives as our planning went along. And of course, as Cuthbert said, even in the meetings, we discovered so much that we didn't know about. Family, folks, it's like everybody in Castlebrose is connected to each other in one way or another. Uh, and um, and we recognize more and more that there's so much we have so much more in common than the little things that maybe differentiates us. We don't avoid individuality, but we also embrace our togetherness. And so that is one of the major emphasis that we would like to have is the unity. As a matter of fact, we know that Dominica right now, a lot of things are divided along party lines, so to speak, or political philosophy, political party and partisan politics. And but we can proudly say on the organizing committee, we have folks from every political stripe and every religious stripe, and we've managed to keep our committee together, working and pulling together for over a year. There've been a couple, as expected, there's been a couple moments of contention, but we're proud that we've been able to resolve it and to continue marching forward. And so I think it's a wonderful achievement and a wonderful demonstration of how much we can achieve if we choose to work together and use our individuality to the benefit, but really leverage our commonality and our common interests. Everybody wants to see a viable and vibrant Castlebrose community, and that is coming very, very strongly through all the plans and all the meetings that we have. So we look forward to it continuing.
Oh, that's awesome. And I mean, as you indicated, in any relationship, you'll find some disagreements. The good thing is we can learn to agree to disagree. For any great marriage or any organization, I don't know any relationship where you don't have contention. But I'm glad that we're able to at least suppress our political biases and our religious differences to work as a unit to bring unity, because that's the idea of the reunion, is to bring back unity, understand how we can individually and collectively help to build where it started. That is where we got our beginning, and it's always good to go back from whence you've come to see how how far you've come and how you can help to bring the others. Tony talked about the need. Well, we're looking at certain things. What is the is there a need for trash collection units? Is there a need for helping the sports facility? Since you're on the ground, what are some of the things that you can talk about that the people that are coming might be able to help contribute towards?
Well, you kind of mentioned it. Cosmos is a community that has a lot of talent. Definitely in sports. We have, for example, like the United Football Club, which have a lot of young guys from the community. And the Cosmos Secondary School has done very impressive work in terms of sports and even in academics. There have been a lot of young persons who have graduated from the school have gone on to do impressive things. So I think that for sure the schools should be looked at in terms of some type of contribution. We also plan one of the days of the reunion to do a health fair and to visit persons who are shut in, the elderly. Some of them, they have persons who care for them, like maybe a Yes We Care volunteer, or well, not volunteer, worker, but they may not have all their family around. So if the persons who are shut in, elderly, could get assistance, that's another area to be looked at, because that is on the schedule as one of the things that we want to do. In terms of infrastructure, well, we just had the bus stop in Gulgulu fixed up, and uh, I would not I would not be able to say exactly what projects are needed in the village because I can't really think of it at the time. But I think what we more need is help for the school. I think something more formal and more structured because you want it to be sustainable and you want it to be not a one-off thing. To me, I think if we're going to make a contribution as persons from the diaspora and even locally on the ground, taking our money to contribute to the community, it has to be something that you can see visible results down the line. And I think contributing to the youth is the way to go because you can contribute to education, you can contribute to sports, and you will see the results. Maybe not today, tomorrow, next week, but the result, the seed will be planted and it will grow. So me personally, that's my take on, where to contribute. I think the school, education, sports, and perhaps extracurricular activities for the young kids. One of the things I noticed, I'm sorry to be going so long,
Oh,
but
take your
one
Take
time,
your
it
go
just
time,
right
go
came
right
to
ahead.
my
ahead.
mind. One of the things that I noticed in the village is, and actually it's an island-wide issue, which is the biting midges. Some people say sandflies, some people say biting midges, but we all feel that bite, okay, whatever you want to call it. It has changed the dynamics of um, how we socialize, believe it or not. And that is another thing for persons who are coming down. Please walk with insect repellent because that is the reality here. That these biting midges, some people say they came through Sahara dust. I don't know how they got here, but they're here and they affect us. So why I'm saying they change the way we socialize is before you would find children playing outside, you know, persons by their fence, not fence, but their hedge, talking across your hedge to your neighbor. It doesn't happen as much because the minute you go outside, you're scratching you're like hitting these invisible things that are biting you. So um we have a lot of kids now indoors. So the point I'm trying to make is in terms of contribution, uh there could be room for things like theater, arts, creative projects that the children can do. So even though the situation with these biting midges and so forth has made it where kids don't want to be outside as much because, or even the adults don't want to be as much outside because of that. Okay, let's say that we now are relegated to doing things inside. What are the things we can contribute? So can we, let's say you're coming from Boston, you can bring down some science kits for the students, that you can do a science project where you're still using your creativity, you're using the things that you learn at school, and you're inside, but you're being productive, you're engaging and that type of thing. So I think the youth is where we should look at the youth and the elderly.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
thank
Those
you.
are
Those
good
are good
points, and I
points, and I
think
think thinking
thinking
along
along
the
the
line
line
of
of
indoor
indoor
activity,
activity, we could do
some
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 ping
ping
pong,
pong,
maybe
maybe
table
table
You
tennis,
are
tennis,
right.
some
There you go.
food and stuff like that. That's a good idea, and maybe somebody listening can contribute towards that. Uncle Tony, so in terms of bringing stuff and sending things, what are some of the people might be reluctant to send things because they're going to cost them too much. Have we made any arrangements with the government to give us some breaks on the taxes and whatnot?
Yes, the government is aware of the reunion happening, and we've already approached for duty-free concession um, with the contributions for the reunion. I know also if you contact us, Elder Pastor John was organizing to ship a container from Atlanta, and so folks, we have a Facebook page. I we can give you the exact name of the Facebook page, but if you go on Facebook and you search for Castleberry Reunion 2025, you will find it.
That's
Well,
it.
I'll make sure that the information is on there. But the reason I'm saying that I have to confirm what is the date by which the container is going to be
Mhm.
shipped
I think the
because
container is on its way, brother.
right, because if it hasn't already left or so on. So we need to confirm that. The other thing is also, if depend on the size of the stuff, I'm in New York and I send barrels to Dominica often, and it gets there religiously every 2 weeks. And so if there are folks who want to send stuff, they can send it to me. One of the numbers on the flyer is mine. The 617-372 number on the flyer is my number. You can call me or text me or WhatsApp me, and we can make arrangements that you can send stuff to me. I can get it on the boat, and it would be in Dominica within 2 weeks. Again, the window for that is closing because we're already in July. So if we want to do that, because as Ayo says, we have to look at what's on the ground, and also I don't know if we notice it rains a whole lot in Dominica. So even something like a tent that can be pitched, and so that activities in the village are less affected by the weather would help. So in addition to the biting midgets, uh, if we have the facility where we can open up a couple of tents, young people can meet under there, having a discussion, have a debate, there'll be no competition, whatever, we can you can maybe send it to the school so it will have a custodial place, and it can be open and accessible to the village. They apply, one person is responsible, they sign off for
All
it,
right.
and stuff like that can be used. The other part is that a big feature of the reunion is finance and economics. And so, as I imagine, we'll go through the program of activities, but I can just highlight that aspect of it. We have a symposium on a Monday, and one of the topics that's covered on the symposium is financing and entrepreneurship and so on. And also on the Friday as well, we wanted to do specifically if there are like 5 or 6 people or 10 people, 20 people in the village who are interested in starting their own business. We're going to bring some experts over, as well as some people who have successfully been able to grow their local homegrown business and do a workshop for those entrepreneurs. And so uh, we floated the idea. It's not been adopted as yet, but I think it was a good idea to see how we could organize, maybe with the cooperation of an institution like the credit union, that those of us in the diaspora can probably contribute towards a fund, and from that fund, um, entrepreneurs can apply for funding to start a business on a soft loan basis. And so that even after we leave, that kind of facility would be available. Maybe the people who contribute after, if it's successful after a year or two, can even realize a return on their investment. But I think there's enough of us out there that if 1,000 of us contribute 100 US, that's 100,000 US dollars, and there's so many more than 1,000 Castros people out there. That can be a fund that sits and administered for a young person who wants to start a seamstress business, for example. Buy a couple sewing machines and some thread and some cloth to start off. They would pay it back over time. But those are the kind of ideas that we are looking at. Even if we don't get a chance to establish it beforehand, but at least while we're together at the reunion, we can discuss those kind of ideas and see how we can have some durable impact on the community.
And that just speaks to the point that IO makes. So it doesn't have to be a one-off, but something that is sustainable, something
Yeah.
that you can see over time. The investment is actually paying dividends. So those are great ideas that we bring them in, but we need to definitely implement them. One of the things that my partner asked me in studio is of course, I've been praising Dominica as the best place in the world because it is to me, and he and his
Mhm.
wife wants to come down, and they may not come for the whole session, but he's like, what are the packages that if any, that the group has in terms of, accommodation, or maybe give some ideas. I don't know if we have anything with any airlines, but do we have any packages, say for accommodation for somebody who is not from Castle Bruce, or even is from Castle Bruce, but they want to travel and they make it easier for them? Do we have any of that at all?
You want to go first, or you want me to go?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So one of the one of the activities that we have is an island tour. Let me see. We have a day that we put aside for
It's the
an
Wednesday.
island tour. The Wednesday, no, the Wednesday is the
No,
5th.
Tuesday the
Tuesday,
12th.
island tour. So folks can we organize tours to the various sightseeing areas the falls, the lakes and hot springs and all of those things. We organize tours for that. Uh, Also, we've been asking folks in the village who have a room that they think they would be able to accommodate a guest, almost like an Airbnb type vibe, whether in your home or you have a whole extra unit, or it might be a family that lives in the US and their home in Dominica is not occupied, to register. Also, I have spoken with the she's not the president, but she's like sort of manages the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association to
Executive
inform her
Director.
members, yeah, of the reunion. And so they would be able to give us a list of the accommodations, and we would talk to those people to let them know that if you're coming from for the Castros reunion, you get some sort of discount. One of the sponsors who have already come on board is the rental agency, Phillips, um,
Carlton Phillips.
Carlton Phillip Rental. They've agreed to some sponsorship, and so we would we talk to them to see if they can be one of the official rental companies for vehicles. That a discount could be given to people who are coming down for that. And so, yes, and that's one of the things that's one of the areas where we've not had the response where we would really want to have it. We've been asking folks to register, if they could register in advance, so it makes it easier for us to be able to contact vendors and other affiliate companies to say, well, we've had 100 people register that's coming down, and 25 of them say they would want to rent a car. So we could go to a rental agency and say, hey, we can send you 25 rentals for that week. What kind of discount you can give us? Or we have 100 people who've registered and 50 of them say, I would like accommodations. It makes it a little more difficult to plan in because folks are not registering. I
Not at
think
all.
you have the registration form on the Facebook page, right?
I do, and I will repost it again because we
Yeah.
do need to refresh.
So you refresh, right? So
Mhm.
if you go on the Facebook page, there is a registration form. You can just register. There's no cost to registering. Just let us know that you're coming, and if there's any special type of accommodation for living as well as for rentals that you need, we can accommodate that. We've also written to the Ministry of Education
Right.
to to get the permission to have some folks to stay in the secondary school, so to prepare the secondary school that folks can stay there if they don't have a home in Castle Bruce. There would be a small contribution that would go to the school, but it would not be anything like you would pay if you had to stay at a guest house or hotel, and you'll be right in the village. And there is security at the school.
Fenced and there's a
It's fenced,
guard.
and there's security as well. And so there is those are some of the accommodation, but again, it helps if folks would register. In addition to that, we put together a week pass that would give folks the access to the activities for the week, and we go giving a discount for doing it early. The discount ran out yesterday, but I'm going to ask the committee for the permission to extend it to the 15th of July for another 2 weeks. That if folks were to purchase that package, they would get it for $150 US, which is a deal because there's so many activities that you would get access to, um, and um, and so we encourage people to at least do the registration form, but better still, if they can purchase the package in advance, because it gives us some funds that we can make some commitments to some of these service providers, our caterers, you know, reserve some the song system for some of the
DJs.
activities, the stage, DJs. Um, we want to headline some of Castlebroo's um, performers. I will talk about Castro being creative. We have superstars, international superstars who hail from Castlebrooks. Lord Breaker is like the patron or the feature artist from Castlebrooks. You know, remember from Gaylord's Power Union fame, Pray for the Black Man. The that song that's always played on Mother's Day, Oh Mama. I
Oh,
cannot sing, but gonna
mama.
try. Go ahead, Ayo, because I cannot sing.
Da, 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 da,
I
da,
will never be a
da,
part,
da.
that kind of a
I can't
song.
remember the
Yeah,
lyrics.
but everybody knows it.
But the
The
melody,
Lovely
everybody knows that.
Dominica
Yeah.
song, Lovely Dominica. That song
Yeah.
is also from him and Gaylor
Hmm.
Sport Union. He is going to be there, and so there's a lot of activity. You get a lot of benefit from the package if you can, and especially if you take advantage of the early bird pricing as well.
What I would really like folks to do, it just starts with one person, you know. If you go to the Facebook page, which by the way is Facebook/Casabras Reunion 2025, Casabras Reunion 2025, just share it with, the 10 people in your contacts that you know are from customers. Whether you think they want to go or not, you don't know. Maybe just you sending it might pique their interest and they may consider coming. But we really need people to give support on the ground. I mean, we have a committee that's dedicated. We meet every week to discuss, to update. But a committee is not enough. We need the residents, we need the people overseas. I mean, even if you're not going, share the Facebook page, share the registration link so that we as the committee can get the information, the data that we need to plan. Because, I mean, we're going to have an award dinner. We have a number in our head of, okay, a head count, but what if like double the number shows up? It changes the dynamics in terms of how we prepare. So it's really important that persons who are tuned in share this information because everything that we're doing is going to be posted on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, you can always message us through the DM, and you can give us your phone number, and we can, add you to the chat on WhatsApp if that's your preferred way to communicate. We also have an email address, which is Reunion 2025 at gmail.com. So you can also reach out to us via email if you need information or if you want to be sent some links or something like that. But we really need community support. The thing is, a lot of people are talking about the reunion. I meet people. I'm like, hey, you come in? Yeah, man, I come in. So they know about it. They want to come. The interest is there, but we're not seeing it as a committee because they're not using the channels to register to officially make us know that they want to be a part of it. So I think that's really important. We need to get people um, taking part.
That's a good thing. And I mean, social media is where it's at. A lot of people probably, some people do not want to be on there, but I see a lot of customers people posting other things. So please, the tell your friend to tell their friend,
That's it.
let people know that this event is coming up. Again, it's been ongoing for a year, and we've been talking about it. And that's what this program is all about, really, to promote the idea and to get people to understand that. I mean, it's amazing. You don't know where this is going to reach, but we have Dominicans and particularly Casabricians all over the world. I don't know if I share with my uncle, but I was in Sweden last week, and I was attending a function over there with my daughter. We were at a hotel, and who walks in there? A Dominican. I mean, can you imagine?
Really?
In Sweden, some Dominican just walked in there, and we strike up a conversation, and the rest is history. Don't want to go into details here, but I'm like in Sweden, uh, you know,
Yeah.
there. But that's the thing. We might be
We're spread out.
They say in
Spread out.
Jamaica, we small but we talawa, right?
Talawa.
But yeah, the idea is let people know so that the committee can prepare accordingly. If we prepare for 10 people and 20 people show up, some people gonna be upset because they don't get anything to eat, and that's the idea behind the whole thing. But again, there are a lot of expenses that go into preparing stuff, and people
Yeah.
really, make commitments. And if we don't, and then we have the tendency to just show up, but please let us know that you are coming so that we can prepare accordingly. Anything
Guys, I
else
have to leave at 11.
you want to
Yeah,
share?
it's quarter to, so just
Say
letting
it
you know.
again.
I have to leave in 15 minutes.
Absolutely. We're leaving in 15 minutes too, so it's about an hour.
Okay.
All right. And we can do this again. I know there are other members of the committee that couldn't be here today, but we could arrange for another live broadcast sometime, maybe in the next week or so, if it works for people. But for today, again, just go over some of the activities that are planned for that week, Tony.
You go first.
Okay, so the week officially commences on the 10th of August. That's a Sunday. So we'll have an ecumenical service and then an official opening and a gospel concert in the evening. Then on the Monday, there will be a symposium. There'll be different topics. Tony can go into depth in that one. I wish my mom was there because she's the one like handling that. But the symposium will talk about things like agriculture, business, youth, etc. Topics that are important to the persons who live there, the persons who are out of the community, and it's just an opportunity for dialogue to see what ideas can come up, to see what we also can learn about the community because I believe there's effort to have Lennox Honeychurch, the historian, a part of that activity. We've had him before in the community where we did a history night, and it was so revealing. I learned things about the village that I didn't even know. We may also have persons who are involved with events back in the 70s, I believe, that were really pivotal moments for not just Castlebrooks, but Dominica as a whole. So that will be a very engaging activity. And later that night, there'll be a cultural night. Of course, some of you may not know, but Castlebrooks is not like Granby, where they say the cultural capital of Dominica, but Castlebrooks has had a lot of persons who have contributed to culture, like Sawil and Damas, may he rest in peace, who have contributed to that. We've had children who took part in the cultural division competitions, in the dances and so forth. So they will have that on display, and that's the Monday, the 11th of August. On the Tuesday, as we mentioned, we'll have the island tours. There'll be different locations that people can go to, different packages that they could choose from in terms of where to go. And that evening, there will be a compa oldies type dance. So your sukus type of music will be playing that night. And then
I
I'll
think
just
I
stop on
think
the
I think I
Wednesday.
think my partner is listening. He's Haitian, so he
Who,
like that.
who, oh, okay. Well, yes. So you'll enjoy that activity for sure. And then I'll stop on the Wednesday, and Tony could take it from there. Wednesday, we're gonna have a cardio jam. It's all about health and wellness on that day. So we're gonna have a health fair, and basically persons could come get their pressure checked, just basic health checks on that day. That's also the day that we visit the elderly, the shut-ins. Hopefully we'll have, we'll come with our hands full, not just come with a smile. And then later that night we'll have an open mic. We are going to have a what we call the festival village, which will be on the basketball court. And so a lot of these activities will, especially the entertainment, the where you have the bands and stuff, will be happening there. But during the day, there may be some activities happening there as well. Okay, so Tony, you can go from Thursday,
I,
go down.
yeah, I will. Uh, I know you say you have to leave in 10 minutes, so if you wanted to have any closing remarks before I jump in.
Oh, okay, yes. I just want to say I am really looking forward to the reunion. We have really been putting a great deal of effort into coordinating it all. There's still things that we're working on, but we really need the support of the persons who do want to come, so that we know that you're going to be there, so we know how we can cater for you, how we can help you in terms of your accommodation, in terms of vehicle rentals, and so forth. It's going to be great. It's exciting. And it's going to be something that, the community, I hope, will benefit, not just while you're there, but after you leave, after the festivities have died down and we're back to regular programming, people will still be talking about Casabru's Reunion 2025, as they've talked about Casabru's Reunion 2004, which was the first one, which was the one that has been, I don't want to say copy, which has inspired other villages to do the same. So I look forward to everybody coming and having a great time, August 10th to the 17th. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
much.
you see, talent from grassroots. Ayo is a tremendous public relations person. As a matter of fact, he's one of the leading PR people in Dominica, and is doing a great job taking over that position at the electric company at a time when the company was facing a lot of challenges, public relations wise. And I'm sure it's in no small measure to her
We're making
talent
we're making progress.
that we don't see the same, vitriol that was shooting out at Domlec maybe a year ago. So I just want to take the opportunity to recognize the good
Thumbs
work
up.
Thank you.
of our fellow Cassibrucian. That's how we call ourselves,
By
Cassibrucian.
Yes.
the way, before you go, Ayo, Anthony, I just wanted to point out, just by research, our first event, our first reunion, we had a Queen Show competition, and the young lady who won, her mother is Sherry Ann Wilshire, and Ma Kenneth Wilshire is her auntie. I am her grandmother, and she actually represented Boston because I sponsored her. So I remember that very clearly. And she
Mm.
did such a marvelous job. She played the Dominican national anthem by saxophone. I just want to say that she has gone on to become a major attorney. She's a
Wow.
attorney in Florida, and not only a practicing attorney, she was just sworn in as the president of the Black attorney, the bar in Southern Florida. And I understand that
Amazing.
she wants to come home for that festivities. And I was hoping we could incorporate all of that in whatever we're doing. So here's to the committees, see how we can utilize her and her skills, but just talk about the fact that that first time that we did it and she won, and how that has impacted her life. Maybe not, but maybe it has.
And
And
I want to, sorry,
yeah, so
I
it
just want to
shows that
add,
those
because you
things have.
said that
Mhm.
we have been asking persons to contribute ideas also, because remember, the committee is a limited number of persons. So I only know as much as my experience and my engagements have informed me. As I said, I lived for quite a majority of my life out of the village, so there are some things that I'm just not going to know that somebody else would know. So for example, we have the award banquet, which Tony will mention. We ask persons to nominate, persons that they believe should be recognized for their contribution to the community. Now, the fact that you just mentioned this young lady, I don't know, I've never heard of her, I don't know her name, I don't, you know, that just tells me this is what we need more of. I know we're very close to the event, but we wouldn't want to have this event and then right there when the awards are being handed out, somebody's like, "Oh, how come I didn't give so and so?" They We didn't know.
Good
We
point. Good
didn't
point.
know. It's not even intentional, because sometimes people think it's intentional. It's not intentional. But if you know somebody, because there may be somebody in Boston who quietly has been helping, you know, that maybe you approach them and like, listen, I know you've been doing XXX for the village, very, under the radar, but I really think you deserve an award. I think, they may say yes. So anybody who knows of any person who needs to be recognized, or not just recognized, but to be part of the event. This young lady that you mentioned, she could cut a ribbon. She don't have to get an award. She could cut a ribbon. She could co-host something. She could serve as a panelist. So if there are persons like her out there that people think could contribute, there's still time. Please send us their names, their backgrounds, bios, whatever is needed so that we can incorporate them in the program. Okay.
Thanks for
Casper's
that.
Reunion 2025 at Gmail is the
I
address.
will
And I have to go now.
I will forward that information. Thank you so much to Tony and to you guys. Her name is Brenda Lynn Edwards, by the way,
Nice.
and her mom's name is Sherry. And so they are planning on coming to the event, and I will make sure that they get information to you guys so they can register as well. But thank you
Okay.
for your participation. And as I said, we will continue to do this. Hopefully, that can generate some more interest. Have a wonderful day.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.
Mhm.
Okay, bye, Ayo. So
So it's you and I,
I,
Uncle.
I pick up from where she left off on I will also on the Wednesday we plan to visit the we call them shut-ins, but persons who are not as mobile anymore to come out of their homes, whether from age or from some other ailment. We want to go show them some love. And as I used to say, we don't want to go for hand swinging. So there's the opportunity to contribute. If you're coming down or you're saying on a barrel, put some toothpaste, some personal care stuff, some combs, some whatever it is in there that we can go with a care package to live for that person, some dry goods, thin
Personal
stuff
hygiene.
or stuff like that, right? So that's one of the main features we want as well. So that was the Thursday is sports day where we can have traditional sports, lime and spoon, rounders, bag race, sack race, little short 10 over cricket matches, 10-minute football matches. Because one of the features that we remember growing up in Cashews used to have a league for every sport. And you wouldn't believe a village could generate so many teams, football teams, cricket teams, basketball teams. And we remember people on the stand, but we just call it the stand, that little bank playing field. And there
Yep.
was a flamboyant tree there. And those are some of the precious memories that we
Those were
have.
the days. Those were the days.
Indeed,
And,
indeed.
and I remember the elderly ladies would come and they would just raise their skirts when
Yes,
it's
Chris.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
and celebrate. Yeah, and icons from the village like François Banis. People know him for his music, François Banis on the Hummingbirds, but he was also avid sportsman. Um, we have all the musicians. Raj Joe, La Selle Once is a significant band from Castlebrooks. So the sports day, and then we have house parties. So we'll be hosting house parties around the village that almost like when I used to grow up, my mother used to bring me on pilgrimage, and we would go around praying for whatever we were praying for in lives of people in the village. So there'll be a house party that would go around, have the village tours as well. Uh, Friday is is the awards dinner. What I was talking about. If you know somebody who deserves an award, whether they've been contributing quietly or loudly, contribute their names. Casper's Reunion 2025 at gmail.com. Send it us by email. If you have Facebook, go on the Facebook page and suggest it in the messages. If you are on WhatsApp, you can send it to one of the numbers that's on the flyers that's going around so we can do that. And on Saturday, we want to remember our Juve with Mr. Luis and Mr. Sonny, Alfred, and so on, who used to organize village bands. Um, we also want, and from Juve, we go to the market where you get your coconut water to drink, your sauce, your fonchine, your black pudding, whatever it is that you remember eating. And from that, we have a broth, a people broth competition where folks are going to cook broth on the beach, and we're going to judge who can cook the best broth. And that night, we would be entertained by some of the musical talent from Castle Bruce. The Sunday is when we would celebrate the traditional village feast. And before we would have a fair, but this one we just have like an exhibition where folks can come and display their craft and whatever it is that they can produce and so on. It's like an exhibition. And of course, usually there would be a dance that culminates that we would have the same type of activity. So there's a lot of activities that's planned because Casper's is known as for its joy and the achievements of its folks. So in a nutshell, those are some of the activities that are supposed to be. We've invited folks. There's going to be a car show where on the Sunday we'll be lining up the street of the village with exotic cars, fast cars, whatever it is. There is that. There is domino competition during the sports day. So there's a lot of stuff that doesn't involve necessarily an expense, but it's just opportunities for us to mingle and talk to each other and exchange ideas and so on. So that is some of the activities that we can expect. I would definitely want to say kudos to the members on the ground who are doing a tremendous job in coordinating and going to meetings and seeking sponsorship and all kinds of stuff. Where we really have fallen behind, is on folks officially raising their hands and saying, I intend to attend. So, because even when you make t-shirts for folks, we don't know how many t-shirts to make. Suppose 25 people registered and we say, let's make 40 t-shirts and 100 show up. We're going to have 60 people saying, where's my shirt? Where's my shirt? Where's my shirt? Something as simple as that. We really encourage folks to indicate, even if you don't want to do a whole registration form, send me a text. Just say I plan to attend. I'll put you on the list and say, okay, Colbert is planning to attend. I will encourage you to go buy the weekly pass in advance, but you don't have to. But at least let us know that you're coming or you have good intentions to come and make that commitment to come. So that is basically what the where we are and what the reunion is about.
Yes, and I would just like to add that if you are in the New England area, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, you can reach me. I'm not part of the committee, but I can help in that regard. And my numbers are there: 617-416-0048. Tony is in New York and Texas, and his number is on the fly. You can reach him. There is John Finn, who is in Tennessee. You can reach him. You can reach Lauren Banis. You can reach Jacinta Banis. And of course, the numbers in Dominica. And there are other people, Carlton Dangleben in Texas.
Mhm.
And,
Jefferson Drygo in Dominica,
yes, I'm
Oswald,
throwing those names. I may not have the numbers, but some of you know who they are. Reach out to them. They'll give you some information. But let us rally around the whole idea. And by the way, if for whatever reason you cannot make it, you can still contribute. You can
exactly.
contributions to the committee, because everything again, there's an expense involved, and whatever contribution you can make, that will be greatly appreciated. So feel free to reach out to one of these people on the committee. Reach out to me. Reach out to anybody that has something to do with this organizing of this event. It's going to be grand. It's going to be great, and we want it to be a very successful thing. So we want you to be part of it as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so Uncle, I didn't. I think you might have said, but I didn't quite hear. Is there a health day for medical and dental, or at
yes,
least to talk about that? If not doing any kind of dental work, but at least to educate the people on dental care or medical care.
yes, and just to give more flowers, I don't know how many of you are aware that my nephew, who I'm super proud of, and his family has a state-of-the-art dental facility in Boston. I have lived in the US continuously from 2003 until now, and I've been to several dental facilities in Boston, in New York area, in Houston, and I will tell you that the dental facility, Beacon Dental Health group in Boston, Massachusetts, ranks probably is the most state-of-the-art and well-run dental facility. And they provide the full range of services from dental surgery all the way to your basic maintenance and regular cleaning and all of that, including Invisalign and braces and all of those things. So if you're within reach of them, you can go there and get first class dental care. And so in speaking about that, Cuthbert has agreed that he, as part of the health aspect of the reunion, that it would contribute towards dental health, whether it's education, and we're hoping maybe some exam. Dr. Finn as well, Emmanuel Finn from DC, has also committed to be part of that as well. So that health fair is on Wednesday, August 13th. That day is a day of health. We're starting it at 5 a.m. with a, a cardio jam where we gather together on the beach and do an early morning workout, health workout. And we have the health fair from 8 a.m. During that same time. Some of us will go visit the folks who cannot come out and bring them some care. Maybe we'll give them a haircut, comb their hair, we'll leave them with a little package and just spend some time with them. And that night, on Wednesday night, we will have an open mic where anybody can go up on stage and say a poem, play an instrument, give a speech, whatever. Um, one, do we have time?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. One of the things I think that helps folks to really understand where we're coming from is stories. And a lot of people don't realize that a big part of quote unquote the liberation or the empowerment of our people started in Castlebrus. In 1972, one of the bigger estates in Dominica was owned by the Commonwealth Development Corporation, CDC. During colonial time, it was a Colonial Development Corporation, and as folks become independent, they changed from colonial to Commonwealth. The same company that owned Domlec, they were affiliated as well with Cable and Wireless, and they basically were the business arm of the British Empire throughout the Caribbean, and so they were huge. And so they owned the estate in Castlebrus. We still call their CDC. We go into CDC, Siqui. And in 1972, a young man by the name of Atherton Martin came up and took over the management of the estate. And as soon as he got there, I guess the estate was going through a little economic tough time. They asked him to fire 60, about 59 or 60 people who worked on the estate, a full one-third of the workforce. And so he said, but when you fire these people, what's going to happen to their families? Because you're going to decimate the economic structure of the village. They did not relent. They still wanted him to fire them, so he refused to fire them. And they turned around and fired him. Well, the workers, in solidarity with him, went on strike. That strike lasted for months.
No
And
matter, no work. I remember that.
yeah, exactly. And it actually resulted, they actually broke the back of that estate enterprise. And the government was able to acquire the land owned by that estate, and they sold it to the people who own. So Castlebrus has a history of workers actually taking over the enterprise and becoming owners of land and owners of business. And they formed the Castlebrus Cooperative, Castlebrus Farmers Cooperative. And then my brother Joe and my cousins Leroy and those guys came together and formed the Anthill Farmers Cooperative. And they were two of the biggest estate producers in Dominica. And so a lot of us or our ability to go to school and to have a livelihood from that time in Castlebrus that happened in Castlebrus. And soon after that, you had a repeat of that same type of scenario inspired by Castlebrus in Geneva Estate and on Rosalie Estate and so on. So Castlebrus has played that pivotal role and it morphed into the Black Power movement and eventually resulted in Dominica gaining independence in 1978. So Castlebrus has that central role that he has played in the empowerment of our people. And as part of the reunion, we're going to highlight activities like that where Castlebrus has played that leading role. And I happen to have a documentary that was created at the time that we're going to form part of the reunion. It's a documentary that was put together by Bill Moyers of PBS, Public Broadcasting Service of the US. They came to Castlebrus. I have interviews where the cooperative people were having meetings, Uncle Stafford and Mr. Lewis and Elua Sylvester And Afi Martin, come on, you must remember that
Well,
time.
I was going to tell you, you're probably too young to remember because you're younger than I am. I remember participating in the match, and your brother, my uncle Joseph, had a placard that says "No matter, no work." I had no idea what that was, but I had it across my neck. I remember walking down Casper and say, "Do you know what that's saying? You walking with things saying no matter, no work, but no matter, no work." I had that on my. I remember that vividly, like it was yesterday, very much so because
Yeah, and so
my grandmother worked on the estate. I worked on the estate, and and people. You were 8 years old. Yes, I did. I carried coconuts. I carried limes. I carried bananas, and because I was a kid, I did as much work as probably some of the older folks. And I think again at the time, that's my memory. They were paying the workers $4 a day, and because I was younger, because I was a child, they paid me $2 a day. So just imagine that. But that's something we can talk about during the event as well.
exactly. And one of the things is that we have invited Afi Martin, because he's still alive, to come to be part of the reunion. And he has agreed. So not only do I have the documentary, but we are going to have Afi live, telling that story. We've also invited Dr. Honeychurch as well, because we know of his achievement as a historian, the eminent historian in Dominica. And he's going to come
Caribbean.
and give all of that in the Caribbean, I should say. Um, so, guys, that's all we do in Castros. We have a good time, but we also have the serious side as well as the futuristic, I should say, side to it. And so I want to make an appeal as well. Folks, we cannot still do the things the way we used to do it, where we just show up. In keeping up with the evolution of how people plan and how things are more expensive now, the emphasis again is to register and to contribute. And something that Cuthbert said as well is it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be that you come in, even if you cannot come. If you contribute a 20 US, a 50 US, 100 US to the cause, that would go a long way in assisting in some of the expenses also.
Yes, and great, and that's exciting. I really. Oh, one of the things I guess my friend was asking is, we need to tell people that probably again they may not be from Castries, but they want to visit, travel into Dominica. Right now, I believe we have direct flight from New Jersey on United Airlines to Dominica, and direct flights from Miami to Dominica. But there are other routes that people can take. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Dominica is becoming more accessible by air. We know that has been one of the challenges that folks have faced, where we could hardly ever travel um, directly from the US and get to Dominica the same day. There are a number of options now. United Airlines has a once-a-week flight on a Saturday from Newark, New Jersey, to directly to Melvin Hall, Dominica. Uh, so that's one. You go from, if you're in Boston, New York, Pennsylvania, DC area, you can come to New Jersey, and there's a direct flight once a week. As the government just announced that in October they're going to do it twice a week, from October to April, I think. But for now, it's on a Saturday. Uh, I know some folks who left this morning from New York and from Houston, got to Miami, and they on the plane right now from Miami going to Dominica. So that's the same day flight. So if you can find your way to, if you go to American Airlines, it's there. You can get there same day from whatever your destination to Miami, and there's a direct flight from Miami to Dominica. The last time I went to Dominica in February, I went on Caribbean Airlines. I chose the late flight because I worked the morning, but I got to Trinidad around midnight, and then I went to Dominica very early the next day. I don't know if the flight was so close I didn't even go out of the airport. There was a little bit of a layover, but I stayed in the airport for a few hours and caught an early flight from Trinidad. I think it was like a 7:30 or 8 a.m. flight from Trinidad. And I'm in Dominica I think I was in Dominica by 11 a.m. So it's almost the same day, just a small overnight. So there's Caribbean Airlines that leaves from New York, leaves from Miami, because my flight was from JFK to Port of Spain to Dominica. Um, if you would take one of the earlier flights, you can do it in the same day because you will get there early enough to catch a Dominica flight from Port of Spain. Coming back up, it was easy. It was the same day from Dominica at 2 p.m. in the afternoon to Port of Spain to New York, same day. So there is that also. So United out of Newark, American from anywhere through Miami. There are also Caribbean Airlines that go through Puerto Rico or go through it's Caribbean, not Caribbean, it's Silver Star as well. Of course, you have the other hubs, like and you can go to Antigua, you can go to St. Lucia, you can go to Barbados and catch a connecting flight to Dominica. So Dominica is a lot more accessible than you remember. Because now I remember it used to take 2 days to go and 2 days to come back. And so you need to have a good week or 2 weeks to really get to enjoy Dominica because you spend 4 days traveling. Right now, you can get there the same day and come back also in one day. So that opens up the opportunity, say, to go on a Wednesday or Thursday and come back on a Monday or Tuesday and still have your weekend. So from New York, from anywhere that connects you from Miami, anywhere that connects you from Puerto Rico, there's a Caribbean Airlines from Miami or from JFK that goes into Trinidad and then on to Dominica.
But
Also,
if you're coming
also
from France, you can probably get to Guadeloupe, Martinique, and take the boat from there, right?
That's what I was going to say. Also, one of the nicest approaches to Dominica, because Dominica is such a beautiful site on land, but when you're on the ocean and you're approaching Dominica on a boat, it's just a remarkable and a wondrous sight to behold. As you approach, you see the mountains, and as you come closer, there's every shade of green. And so sometimes what I do is I fly to St. Martin, right? From St. Martin to Guadeloupe and take the ferry from Guadeloupe to Dominica. There's the other route that I do from JFK. I fly to St. Lucia because there's several flights from St. Lucia. And then I grab the ferry in St. Lucia. And that is a beautiful trip because it goes from St. Lucia to Martinique to Dominica. And so you get that nice. If you have the time and you like boats, which I happen to like. So that actually is when I have the time, is my preferred route to Dominica. We fly to St. Lucia, and from St. Lucia, you take the ferry and it takes you via Martinique and then to Dominica. So there's several options as well.
Well, that is great. That is great information. I hope people are digesting. And again, share the information with your friends and let them know we want this thing to be such a success that again we originated the whole thing. A lot of things start in Castle Bruce. We're from the east, and so let us not be wary, but let us get excited about the whole thing, and let us put our money where our mouth is, and let us make this an awesome success. And so, yeah, I think, thank you, NECTN, for giving us the opportunity for broadcasting this. And as I said, we'll talk to the other committee members. And when they are available, we can do this again and we can get more information from them and to see where we are in terms of the progress. So, final words for you, Uncle, and then we will say bye bye.
Well, just as you said, I want to say thank you to NECTN for the opportunity and you as well for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to give the information that folks require who may want to come. I want to say a special thank you to my fellow folks from Castros who are helping us put this together. I mean, we for months now we've been having weekly meetings. Every Friday at 7 p.m., we have a 2-hour meeting to plan the reunion. That takes a lot of giving up of time. And sometimes we have two meetings because we would do a follow-up meeting on a Tuesday so that we don't have a whole gap between meetings. So some of these folks are giving up 2 evenings a week towards planning this. There are those on the ground who are doing a lot of legwork as and participating in the planning because obviously they are on the ground and so what we do and what we plan is informed by their perception of what is necessary, what will appeal to so that it stays current and relevant. And so thank you for that. And of course there's a few sponsorships are coming on board. We all know the global economic situation, and then also Dominica as well. And so not all those businesses can contribute. So every bit counts. And so I would want to encourage anybody who has the means, if you can squeeze a $20, a $50, $100. And by all means, if you have the largest and you can do it, $1,000 would be welcome. But any bit counts. You can just contact us. Go on the Casper's Facebook page or send us a WhatsApp. Send me a WhatsApp 617-372-0107. Or anybody that you know from Casper's. Ask them and they will put you in touch with me. I would say share the information with anybody because anybody from Dominica might have a Casper's friend. They can send it to. They might choose to come. Just share it. It cannot be too much information. Put it on your Facebook page for us, please. Let us really make this occasion a wonderful occasion because the full intention is to get there to have fun, but the very close second or equal objective is to make sure that we can sustain the village and help to provide opportunities for those that are there and those that are upcoming so that they too can have a similar experience of saying, boy, I was raised in Castlebrus, and even if I've been around the world, if I had to choose, there's nowhere else I would choose but to be raised in Castlebrus because of all of what is available from the village. Before I go, one of the things I want to tell folks is that one of the challenges that Castlebrus is facing right now is water supply, pipe-borne water. Although Castlebrus is one of the villages with the most rivers, we have a lot of significant rivers in Castlebrus. The water system is a challenge right now, currently. I understand there are days in a row that go on without pipe-borne water. But I happen to be a water engineer. And so one of the topics we're going to address while I'm there is water. And I'm inviting the person at Doasco at the water company who's in charge of operations and maintenance. He had his father is from Casablanca, he's a Drago. So I've invited him to come and participate as well. And so we're going to spend time, and it's not going to be just a talk shop. We actually want to come up with practical and applicable solutions that we can address and fix that water problem in Castlebrus. So that's also something that we are looking at.
Well, thank you so much. And one of the things that I have learned over the years is to, is to stop highlighting little. We small, we little, a little this, a little that. Yes, every little thing counts, but I believe we got to think big. And so yes, there are people from the Castle Bruce, I'm telling you, that can contribute $1,000. So let's start there. And if that's
Yeah.
too much, then we can come down. But we want to start up there, make this thing big. And I have, my friend will tell you when we decided to start this program, and New England Christian Television Network, and I thought, geez, that was grandiose. But I just read a book that says if your dreams don't scare you, they are too small. You understand? And so I'm thinking big. I'm thinking grandiose because that's what we can do. We might be small in stature in terms of our size, but we can do big things. And so I want to join with you and appeal to the broader community to just go all out to let our activities this coming August be something that will be talked about for years to come. And as Ayo said, it's not a one-off thing, but our contribution is going to pay dividends down the road. Your children might not be in Castle Bruce, or your family members must probably have emigrated, but we got our start in Castle Bruce. And so I am appealing to you, and I'm saying to you, wherever you might be, help us make this thing a wonderful, wonderful success. Thank you again for your time and your participation, Uncle Tony. You're spearheading this thing, and I want people to understand that these committee members are not getting paid. This is voluntary, and so they're taking their time from work, from their family, to make this thing happen. So bear with them and support them because it can get frustrating when you're doing stuff and you can't see the fruits coming to fruition. So all the best, and we'll do this again. God bless, and let understand. Say pay you, say plus nu. Let us be the ones that big it up. Amen.
Amen. Thank you
Until
so
next
much,
time.
Neville. I appreciate it. And thank you to your team at the studio as well.
Absolutely. We are grateful, and God bless you, my brother. All the
Thank
best.
you. All the best.